Welcome to Do the Top Podcast, a real estate podcast that teaches regular people how to invest in real estate. I am your host, Ibrahim Ojerinde, and my co host is Amel Lawal. We are committed to making investing in real estate seamless as much as possible. So, if you want to learn in real estate, you are in the right place. Keep in mind, this is not a get rich quick scheme. You will have to put in the work, but believe me, if you follow the process, you put in the work, things will fall in place. Ahmed, how are you doing today?
Yeah, it's another Friday, Brian. Thanks for the introduction. We are back, guys. We are doing this live for you guys to be able to ask your questions. So we want this to actually be an interactive section. Drop your question in the comment box. Concern. Something that scares you about real estate investing, and that is our job to help you overcome the fear that you have. Also, we want you to like, subscribe, and share this video with anybody that you like because this is something that will be helpful for everybody. We see everything that is going on in the economy, and we want to be ahead of that, right? So we want to be in the next 5, 10 years, look back and be like, oh, I make a right decision, you know. So that is why we make it our duty every night, Ibrahim and I, to be coming on here and shedding light into some things that basically everybody know or they don't know, or something that you will be of benefit to you in regards to real estate investing. So tonight is a good one that if you are thinking like, oh, I don't have money to use to invest and I want to invest in real estate. I don't know how to start and things like that. You might want to stick around tonight because tonight is going to be about there's some hiding money that you don't even know you have,
Yeah.
some money that is hiding that you don't even see, that you can tap into and start your real estate journey through there. So the today topic is power of equity, you know so that is what we want to go deep into. We have mentioned it a couple of episodes back, but that was just a brief description. Today we are going in depth into what is equity. So equity is literally store of energy. When I said energy, I mean money through real estate. So literally the money that you have sitting inside a real estate asset that you have. Maybe it's through you faucet, stuff like that. But appreciation, those money is what they call equity. It's your own share of that real estate if you still hold a mortgage on it. If you don't, then everything in that house is yours. So that is what equity is really. So we have couple of ways in which you can build equity into your house. There are many of them, but the four ones that we are going to be concentrating on today is first or um sweat equity. So what do I mean by sweat equity is when
Mhm.
you buy undervalue property or distressed property, you add value to that property and the ARV, the after repair value, goes up. Now you have equity in that house. That is one. The second one is when you buy an equity into an house. What do I mean by that? So let's say you have three property in this on the same street that's worth 150,000. And the fourth property, the owner is trying to sell it, and you buy that one, maybe like 180. Now, if the square footage, the bathroom, the bedroom, and everything is the same as the first three that you have on that same street, now you bought equity into the rest of the houses on that street, which means now the your house that is worth 150 before now is now worth 180, which is the price you pay for the fourth one. So the third one is time. If you leave your house and over time it grows, and the last one is negotiation. That is how you can bring equity into your deal. So, uh, Ibrahim, let's go back to number one. So I know I briefly described what it is, but
Mhm.
kindly explain to us in depth what forced or sweat equity is and how our audience can know if they have one or if they can build one into their house.
Yeah. So thank you for that opportunity. So let's talk about sweat first. What is sweat equity? So sweat equity is like you purchase a property that is distressed, just as you mentioned, and you bought it for like maybe 80,000. Okay, for example's sake, you bought it for 80,000. In that location, the square footage of such a house after it is repaired and in a good condition, let's assume it is $200,000, but you bought it for 80,000 because it is distressed property. And of course, you have to get a contractor to tell you what it will be, like the repair cost. Because the after repair value is 200,000 doesn't mean that you have to buy it, doesn't mean that it is profitable. First of all, you have to check what is the repair cost. So let's assume the repair cost is 60,000. So 60 plus 80, that's 140.
Yeah.
And when I mean repair cost, I mean like everything, holding, repair, everything that you need to do, permits, whatever you need to do. Let's say it's 60, you know, with the 80, that's 140. So, and the after repair value is 200,000. So technically you have sweat equity of $60,000 because the purchase price is 80, repair and everything is 60 in total. Then you have, 60,000 sweat equity. Now, how do you want me to go into how to benefit from this equity, or what you just want me to define what it is? Like just
Yeah,
explain. Okay.
so let's run through the four so
Okay.
that we have them together. So
Okay.
thank you for describing the first or sweat equity.
Okay.
Let's go into bot. How
Okay.
does bot work? Who uses bot, and how can our people, benefit from it? Then we go into the how we can use equity at the end.
Yes, yes. So in most cases, newbies don't typically use bot. It's because it's more for investors that invest largely in a neighborhood. Are owning about 2 to 3 or 4 properties in the same neighborhood. It's easily for you to like kind of improve the equity by gain of, because you have more properties in that same neighborhood that's already there, the same value, like the same square footage, almost the same condition, and the same amenities. So if you buy such a property in that neighborhood, even if you pay more for that house, the new one that you're purchasing, it's going to increase the value. Like, you're not losing money because it increases the value of the rest of the property that you own in that neighborhood automatically, because in real estate we sell houses based on the neighborhood, the condition of the property, and the square footage. So all those three will come in place since the house you pay for in that neighborhood, the new one you just got, is the same square footage with the old ones that you already own in that neighborhood. Um, the condition is similar and also is the same neighborhood. So you've checked box, you've checked the box of two aspect that is very critical and you've already passed it. The other one will be condition, even if it's not the same condition, as long as it's so close, you can pay actually more for the new one that you are getting because it will definitely force like improve the equity of the old property in that neighborhood. So this is not for everybody. It's really for people that really have multiple properties in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
So we don't recommend this for everyone. You have to do your assignment and make sure you it's gonna work for you before you do this.
Yeah, I have the next one actually work for everyone. So kindly explain to us how time can benefit homeowner in terms of equity.
Yes, so time, this is normal, this is easy peasy for everyone. So when you buy property and just all you have to do, keep maintaining your property, leave it there. You don't have to do anything special, but just fix whatever that is damaged. Cut your grass, pay your taxes, pay your bills. With time, your house will appreciate gradually.
Yeah.
That one you don't have to do anything special. It will appreciate gradually. I think another one that I've not talked about is the forced equity, because the bot is a kind of like a forced, but forced is like you actually recreate the house. So, for example, you bought a house 3 bedroom in a neighborhood, 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom. Okay, and in that same neighborhood, you have 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Now you look at the square footage of that house, you realize that there are still space for you to create one more bedroom or 2 bathrooms in that house. So because of the house is it has a lot of square footage, you add one more bedroom in that place. Of course, you have to get permit from the city, but you have one bedroom in that house, so that makes it 4 bedrooms. Now you have another opportunity to create a bathroom, and you were able to do that in that same house. So now you have 2 bathrooms, 4 bedrooms.
Yeah.
So now your house, it's not in the category of 3 bedrooms anymore, 1 bathroom. It's not in the category of 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom anymore. Now it's in the category of 4 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms.
Yeah.
Because of that, that is forced equity because you forced it. You recreate the value of the house. Just like, for example, your house does not have a pool, it doesn't have a, what else again? It does not have a garage, and you see this, or maybe your house has a garage, but it's only 2 rooms, 2 bathrooms, and in that neighborhood, everybody, the majority of the house is 3 rooms, 2 full bathrooms. You can actually change the garage to a room, insulate it, change to a room, a proper, well done room. That now you have 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms. So
Yeah.
that is forcing the equity because with that, your house will appreciate. Of course, a room is more valuable than a garage. So that is forced pretty much.
So let's quickly move on to the last one. So
Okay.
which is negotiation. I think
It's-
everyone can do this one too. Can you
Yeah.
explain how?
Yeah, that one is powerful. So negotiation. I mean, we went through this topic before about how to negotiate and everything. Um, so negotiation is the normal process of you trying to acquire property. The better you are at it, the more leverage you can, you can leverage on your skill of, knowing how to negotiate. So essentially, what you do is you try to negotiate on a property. Now, when we say negotiate, it's so large, because there are different ways on how you can do that and you can acquire property. The easy one is to, just save money, make sure your credit is good, make an offer. If the seller wants 200,000, you can say, okay, hey, seller, I will pay 200,000, but you pay my closing costs. Or I pay you 195, you pay part of my closing cost. Or Seller, depending on the the market that you are in, if a seller or buyer market, you can actually even pay the same amount or even pay a little more on that property if you know that it's gonna fetch you the equity that you are looking for and it's in a good location for the business that you are trying to do. So you can actually even pay a little more on the house to entice the seller to get the house and get the house, do what you got to do as long as the number is working for you. And with time, the equity will grow because, first of all, you pay that extra because you know it's in a good location. It's working for your business, the kind of business you are trying to do. No HOA restriction, no, as long as you check all your boxes and it's really perfect for what you're trying to do, negotiate on it and try to get it out. So negotiation is so big. I don't know how to really. Ahmed, I need you to help me here because there are different ways you can do. Subject to all those things are still negotiation. So it's very large.
So this really is very key, and to be able to use negotiation to uh, go into a property with equity, it requires skills. So you have to actually know what your numbers are.
Yeah.
uh there are multiple ways to do it. You can, okay, hey, Mr. Seller, this market, you've listed this house for so amount of time, nobody's coming to buy it. I am willing to buy, but this is how much I have.
Yeah.
So if they're asking for 200 and you're like, hey, the only thing I'm qualified for from the bank, or the only thing I can afford from my pocket, is 160.
Yes.
Will you take that, or what do you think? So if they say yes, then now you have a buffer of 40,000 going into the house. So
Hmm.
that can be one. The second one that I will quickly mention is, a lot of time seller want to sell their house even under the ARV, and they don't know, you know.
Hmm.
But being that you are an expert, you know this house actually worth more than this.
Yes.
I was talking to a friend of mine. Is in a negotiation with a seller, and the seller is saying my house is worth 150. This guy knows his house is worth 180.
Yes.
So already on a normal day, that house is a deal for him already,
Hmm. Hmm.
because 180 to 125 is a huge number.
Yeah.
So the guy, because my guy is an experienced investor, he knows that house is worth more.
Hmm.
So he's just playing along with him, like, okay, if this house is worth 125 and you haven't fixed this, you haven't upgraded this, I'm gonna pay 80. Imagine bringing a house of 180 to 80. Now you have 100,000 equity in there.
Yeah.
So negotiation, if you have the skills, the ability to underwrite and see things from a different perspective, or maybe like Ibrahim said, let's say the house is actually 200 and you decide to pay 210 for the house. Why will you do that? Because you know that the city is planning something very, very important close to that house, and that house will skyrocket. That area will jump up. The ARV in that area will jump up very soon. That is the benefit of going into all this town meeting where they discuss developmental things that is coming into the town,
Yeah.
because it lets you see ahead and
Hmm.
it lets you know where you can strategize your investment. So there are so many ways you can go about negotiation. So it doesn't mean you have to cut the price. It just means you train your mind to see something that
Hmm.
those people are not
Will
aware
not
of.
necessarily see. Hmm.
Yeah, so
Yes.
that is very, very helpful. uh now that we touch on ways that people can build equity into their house, the main reason why we are discussing this is to show our audience how they can leverage that equity.
Yes.
I know you've done ELOC in the past.
Yes.
Can you explain what ELOC is and how that can be a benefit for someone that doesn't have money and they want to invest in real estate? How can they leverage their ELOC through their equity?
Yes. So ELOC is one of the great tools that our audience can tap into and use that to scale up in their real estate. endeavor. So with ELOC, essentially you are going to the bank because you have equity on in your home. Okay. So you go to the bank and tell them, okay, I want loan. The reason why you might want to consider ELOC is because of with ELOC, you don't have to pay any interest except when you use until when you use the money, the fund. So
Ibrahim, before you go too far, sorry I cut you off. I want you to explain the terms ELOC
oh, okay, sorry. So
so that our audience can
yes.
really
So
understand.
ELOC is home equity line of credit.
Yeah, so
It is like a debit card, Actually, I should say credit card. It's like a credit card, and they put if you qualify, you apply like a normal loan. They use that ELOC. It's like a debt that is attached to your home as like a lien. It is a second lien because your mortgage is the first lien. It is a second lien, which is your mortgage is the priority. Okay. Now, let's say you have a house of 200,000, like the value is $200,000. And right now you are owing maybe 80,000 or maybe 65, okay? Or even 100,000. Just for example's sake, let's say you are owing $80,000. So now you have $120,000 equity.
yeah,
With ELOC, you get that money after you applied. It stays in that card or that credit card. To use that fund, you have to go to the bank and show them your ID, and they will ask, of course, how much you need and everything. That they give it to you. Then you use it for what you have to do. How do you apply for ELOC? What is the things you have to go through? This is what I'm about to say. Explain now. So we go to the bank, you submit your application and everything. How do they calculate this? So they use. I just explained that you have $200,000. Like your value of the house is 200,000. Your debt is 80,000. You have $120,000 equity. Now, ELOC will not give you the entire 120,000. What they do is that they tell you that they can give you up to 89% of your equity. Now, up to 89%, it means 120,000. One second here, guys. I'm sorry, I should have put a number on the screen.
I
Well,
mean
it's
that
gonna be
is
quick.
why we are doing it
Yeah,
live. We want
yeah,
to
but it's
show
gonna
people it's
it's gonna be
practical.
fast. Yeah. So 120,000 divided by 100. So that is 106. That's the maximum amount. You see. So no, I'm so sorry. So 200,000 is 200,000. They're gonna use the entire value of the house and 89% of it. So 89 divided by 100. So that will be 178,000. That's what the ELOC will work with. So let me repeat again. You have a value of your house worth $200,000. You are owing a debt of $80,000. So you have equity of 120. ELOC will not necessarily give you anything from this 120. What they will do is that they will say 89% of the total value of your house. And when you look at it, 89% of that is 178,000. Now, from the 178,000, they will minus the $80,000 debt that you are owing right now. When they minus that, you have $98,000 left. Okay. So from this $98,000, they are gonna take a look at, if you have a big credit card debt, student loan, like all this other debt, they'll try to work it into the loan where they don't just give you. because they look at how much you pay back every month. So let's say all those debt, because I don't know what you have. Let's say it's 8,000. So you only have 90,000 to work with ELOC. So they'll put the 90,000. Of course, you have to have good credit. They'll check your credit. They'll check your credit history. They'll check the report. If you've been disputing, if you've been in collection, all those stuff will play a role in determining. It will play a role for the e-law company to determine how much they will give to you. Because at the end of the day, the bank want to make sure you're gonna pay the money back. So in total, you might end up getting $90,000, even though your equity is 120. But they won't give you all that just because of the way it is designed. And why do they do that? It's because they want to have some cushion. Imagine your house is 200,000. They only give you 89% of it. And I'm this example that I'm giving right now is teacher credit union. Other financial institution might not go up to 89%. In the case of where they go 80%, it means you're gonna get less money. If they say 75%, your money is even gonna be lesser than this, you know. So in this example, let's continue with this 89%. So you get 90,000. So with the 90,000, it's gonna be in that credit card. Now, ELOC, the interest rate will not start right away. When you use that card, let's say you take 50,000 out of it, you'll be charged interest only for 8 years. Interest only for 8 years. Now, after 8 years, you will now be charged interest and principal for 5 years. So when you take 50,000, you'll be paying interest on that 50,000 for 8 years. Or if you use everything, you take 90,000 debt, you pay interest only for 8 years on that 90,000. After that, then the remaining 5 years, because the entire program is 13 years with Teacher Credit Union. So the remaining 5 years, you pay interest and principal. So it is a great tool because with that first 8 years, you can use that to scale up, do what you have to do, buy properties and everything. If you have extra, we recommend paying down the principal so you don't stack up debt. But what we are saying is that it might help you to start because from the beginning you don't want to have too many debt that you have to, you don't want to have too many paybacks that you have to do. So it's better you go for something like ELOC if you are not ready and you know that your cash flow won't necessarily, grow so fast, grow rapidly. You want to start slow, go with minimum payment that you can do as much as possible. Then when you start making money or when your business is now having, is getting rooted, then you can now pay extra money, so you can take care of the debt. So essentially, ELOC is good for someone who is not completely a kind of business that is not ready to start making large payback, or you are not sure of how much you will use from your equity. So you don't want to get a kind of debt where when you pull out all the money, you are paying huge interest right away. So you only pay interest on what you use with ELOC. So that's one of the great benefits.
Thank you, Ibrahim, for sharing that.
Thank
That
you.
is very, very helpful.
Thank you.
One thing I just want to add is a lot of people are going to buy a house and they will have a lock line of credit open,
Yeah.
and the benefits that HELOC can brings in that scenario is, let's say you are still working with the city with a permit on the house, or maybe you want to add ADU, or you are
Mm-hmm.
adding some more square footage into the house. You know, if you don't spend that money, you are not
Mm-hmm.
paying on it. That is very, very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't
That's
pay. Yep.
shortening the time of your interest rates, you know,
Mm-hmm.
compared to loan that you take out that it's already reading.
Mm-hmm.
You are paying interest on it already, like hard money and all these other uh, debt that you can leverage in real estate. So basically, ELOC is it's very helpful in that scenario.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one. Let me take this one, Ibrahim. The
Sure.
1031 exchange. So
Mm-hmm.
1031 exchange is basically a tax code. that allow real estate investor to actually sell their property and transfer their proceeds from that property without tax,
Mhm.
without paying tax on that proceed, transfer that proceed into something similar or larger. So let's say you have a fourplex, let's say you have four doors, and you want to, now scale up to like 12 or 20 doors, right? You cannot go to three door. You cannot sell your four door and go to three door. That is scaling down. It has to be the same or larger. So now you can easily go and do 1031. So 1031 is basically you are selling that four-door property that you have, and within 30 days you are buying a different property that is of the same value, the same square footage, the same for how will I put that property, let's say four
Mhm.
door again,
Mhm.
or you
Mhm.
are buying something larger than that,
Mhm.
so you can transfer that proceed. So the benefit of 1031 and the equity you are pulling out from that is that you are not, paying all these taxes. Capital gain is real, and if you have to, let's say you have a proceed of 500,000, if you have a proceed of 20,000, it might not make a huge difference to you. But real investors that are doing huge millions of transaction, when they are asked to pay taxes, their taxes is like 20-year salary of someone else. So they don't want to pay that taxes, not because they don't want to pay it, but because they want to defy it, so
Yeah.
that they can, build on their cash flow, so they can move that money to buy something bigger,
Mhm.
and that way they defer that taxes from the sales they just made, and defer it into the future. So 1031 is actually pretty much you holding on to that money
Mhm.
and transferring it to the same kind of property or something larger. But the caveat is you have to be ready to do 1031 before you actually start the process, because you have only 30 days
Yeah. Yeah.
to
You have only
transfer that.
30 days. Yeah.
Yeah, you have only 30 days to do that. Outside of 30 days, I've not really look into what the implication is. Maybe they're going to take taxes or other, but I feel like, yeah, after 30 days, they're probably going to take taxes on that proceed. So you might find something you want to buy before you start the process of 1031, so that when you sell your house, boom, you just, go to another closing
Jump
table,
to another one. Mhm.
yeah, and close on that one. So that will be something that will be helpful on 1031. So Ibrahim,
Yeah.
equity loan,
Mhm.
I want you to explain what equity loan is and what make it different from ELOC.
Yes, that's a good one. So equity loan is essentially you get a loan from the bank and they put a lien on your home. So they are giving you this money based on your credit score, your equity in your home, which is the amount of money that you've saved. I'm gonna use your word now. Amount of energy that your house has built up.
Yep.
So they look at the value of your house and compared to the debt that you own on that house, whatever is left in between, that's your equity. And I should mention that both ELOC and equity loan, they are going to send out an appraisal, just to see what is the value of that home. Teacher credit union, they don't do in-house they do like a neighborhood kind of appraisal. Like they don't really necessarily go inside the house for ELOC. I'm not sure what they are doing now, but back in 2020, they just kind of scan through, look at the condition of their house, and of course, they have their agent that can do a quick, comms and see what is the value of your home. Now with equity loan, They might, you know, they might necessarily come inside and look at everything, check all your cabinet, check, your bathroom and everything, the room size, see the condition, the true condition, if everything is okay. So the appraiser will appraise the house, then they send it to the bank. You've already applied, your credit is good and everything, so they give you the loan. Now with this loan, the interest rate start right away with equity loan. No matter you use it or not, it doesn't matter. As long as they cut you the check, the interest rate start right away. That's the big difference from ELOC and equity loan. With equity loan, your interest rate is fixed. This is the con. I mean, sorry, this is the pros of equity loan. Your interest rate is fixed. You know what is your debt is. You know what you're gonna pay back because they've already amortized your payment. You know what it's gonna be. And when you get the money, you better put it into work right away because your interest rate starts immediately when they give you the check. Now, what are the advantage I just mentioned? The pros is that you know what you're paying back. Nothing will change on you. It's fixed. If you like, you refinance in the future, but at that moment, at least it's fixed. You know what it is. Versus ELOC, where it is not fixed. ELOC is adjustable rate. Depending on what you use, they won't charge you interest on the order. Like if you don't use it, they only charge you what you use. However, it is adjustable rate. So it might not be a good idea for some folks that like fixed and steady or a targeted number, because ELOC can change, the interest rate can change. That is controlled by the financial institution and all that. So we're not gonna go into that. But anyway, home equity loan, it is fixed and the interest rate start immediately. That's the major difference.
Okay. Yeah. The final one. No, not the final one. The next one will be cash out refinance. So basically, what this is you know that your house has increased in value, and you go to the bank and let them know you want to cash out from the equity that you have acquired in the house, and they are going to go through the same process, send appraiser out to make sure you have this equity that you claim, and they will determine how much they can give. It's going to be varies with bank.
Mhm.
Every bank have the different policy when it comes to this, in particular cash out refinance. But
Yes.
it is good to ask around before you go with one, because you might have a better option, and you can take that money that you cash out. You are still living in your house. The terms, the amortization, that's one thing I want to explain to. Amortization is the length of the time that you are going to use to pay that
Yes.
loan back.
Yes.
So just for our audience, I know you mentioned amortization earlier, so I put it down so I can
Mhm.
explain later. So amortization is the length, the period. Let's say your house is, they say you're going to pay for 30 years, 15 years, 10 years, 20 years. That is how much time they amortize the loan for.
Yes.
So that is what amortization is. So the cash out refinance, the your amortization is going to change, because now you are like re-signing the document for that house.
Mhm.
So that is going to change. But uh you can take out equity now, because when you bought it for 150, that same house goes for 250 now. So you now have equity of 100,000. And if they give you 80% of that, that is 80,000. And that 80,000, you can now take it out, use it to buy more houses that cash flow when you put renter in there, and you have this money coming to you every month. So that money, you are actually not spending it, you are sending it out to work for you.
Yes.
And these people bring you check every single month. They are going to be the one paying down your mortgage, and you just take the difference and run with it. And That is, if you do that multiple times, before you know it, you get out of the level one survival mode that everybody's trying to get out from. If you don't work, you don't pay your bill. That is a survival mode that everybody needs to get out of, because that getting out of that is only when you can actually sit down and harness your own potential. Think of what you are good at and actually do it, and that is where you can actually eat the success. So, um, Ibrahim, I think that is everything that we have. The final one that I want to add is basically one that I just learned today. So, which is basically, if you have a house that you have equity in it, you can actually go and look for a property you want to buy, and your down payment can be paid out of your equity. How does that work? So you are not refinancing, you are not selling the house, you are not doing
Yeah.
anything, but
Yeah.
just because you have equity in that house, you can go to bank like, hey, I have 60,000 equity in house A. I want to buy house B with down payment of 30,000. Can you finance that 30,000 for me with this equity from house A that I have? So they are going to do their due diligence, appraisal, and all that. And if they determine that truly you have 60,000 equity in house A, they will they you will be buying house B with no money out of your pocket. I, I don't know if that is clear enough. So this is pretty much you buying a new house from your equity, that they are putting a new lien against your equities. They're going to be putting a lien against your equities. So it's something that you need to take note of. But you can buy a new house with no money out of your pocket with your equity that you have from house A. You buy house B, no money out of your pocket from the equity. That's pretty much what I'm explaining.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of strategy. There are a lot of way you can leverage your equity that you have. That is why we want to bring this to limelight. We want to explain to you, and we want you guys to ask your questions. Really, we want you to, ask us what you are afraid of. One thing that is holding you back. One thing that is not clear to you. That way, we can explain it in details. And if we don't know it, guess what I'm going to do? We are going to figure it out and come back and explain it to you, because we are not claiming that we are 100% on anything related to real estate. Of course, we've done so much that we know enough, but real estate is so large. I just told you, I just learned about this particular strategy today. You know, uh, things like that, you keep learning as an investor. You keep the learning of mind, and that is the only way you can scale up fast. To scale up fast, you need much more. You need more than one or two or three strategy under your belt. You must be able to take advantage of subjects when they come your way, seller financing when they come your way, cash deal when they come your way, rehab when they come your way, multifamily when they come your way, because that is the only way to scale up fast. Ibrahim, do you have any additional?
Yeah, I think it is necessary to mention this that with ELOC, it would not affect your original monthly payment on your primary mortgage. Your ELOC payment will be separate.
Okay.
Your normal mortgage, the initial one, will be separate as well. Even when you start paying the principal and interest together, like after the few years of interest only surpasses, you only pay, you still pay separate. You don't pay your mortgage with ELOC. The ELOC is separate, your mortgage is separate. Now equity loan, that also is separate. You pay your equity loan separate, you pay your mortgage separate. With cash out refinance, that will affect your mortgage, because that one you're actually refinancing your mortgage. So whatever it is, it will change to the new one because now you're getting another funding from the bank. In most cases, your payment will go up. A rare occasion, it might be the same or a little bit, just because, for example, I'll give you an example. It's very rare. If you start your loan with 7%, and by the time you want to refinance, the rate is 3%, technically your payment is going to be lower because when you refinance. But the fact that you cash out some money, that might push your payment up a little bit, and it might still be lower than the 7% because that alone, 3 to 7 is more than $400, monthly payment. So, but in most cases, it will increase your monthly payment because you are cashing out more debt, and your
Yep.
mortgage will be in one spot when you do cash out refinance. Versus ELOC is two different debts. One is the first lien, which is your primary mortgage. The second lien is the ELOC. The home equity loan, the first lien is your mortgage. The second lien is the equity loan. So you pay two of them separately. That's what I want
Um,
to clarify.
Yeah, and another thing, Ibrahim, is I think we need to do this. Is we already explained all these ways people can draw money out of
Mhm.
their equity that they have in the house. How can they use that same money to invest in real estate?
Oh, that's a great question. So there are different ways. First is to, before they even draw the money, they need to know what they are trying to do, which is, am I going to, buying properties, or I don't, if realistically, that you don't have that, that high energy, um, that capacity, or because you are so busy, or your fear tolerance is very low, very limited. You partner with people, work with people that are doing it before, that knows how to do it, that know how to do it, and try to fund transaction with them. It's like you are limiting your risk, because two good brains is better than one. No
Of
matter how
course.
good is the single brain, the two good ones or three is better than just one, because there are a lot of things that you may not see, or it takes you time to learn that the other person already know or learn. Okay. And besides, you are sharing the liability, you are sharing the risk.
Yep.
It's like three woods is holding a jar or a pot. It's gonna be more balanced than a wood that is holding it. You know what I mean? Like, if you have three metal holding a jar, it's
Absolutely.
gonna be more balanced. So so technically, if you have a high tolerance, talk to an investor, get that money, and try to invest in property. Okay, that is, go to the market, check online, look for good location, look for the condition of the property, make sure it's something you like, make sure the numbers, the what you are expecting, your expectation. I don't know what you're expecting, like, if you want 10%, 5%, 7%, 8%, make sure the number is working. Call a real estate agent, call an investor, try to see how you can get those property under your, in your portfolio. Um, since you already have the HELOC, it's going to be your down payment, of course. Secure the property, follow the process of, providing documentation and everything, and you got the home. Then you use it for what you want to use it for. Be strict on your accounting, save your money so you can scale up, and look for opportunities everywhere, and repeat the same process if
Yep.
that's the route you want to go. If you want to go the route of, like, okay, I'm too scared to do this, I need someone to train me or show me how to do it, call investors, call people that are investing in real estate, talk to them. Hey, I have this money, I want to do this, I need help, I need guidance. They will tell you how to move forward with that money. You'll be surprised, the things that you think or something that you will be like, kind of a little embarrassed that, "Oh, I should have known this." Trust me, it's not your fault. You have not done anything wrong. It's just that it's too. it's something you don't do every day, or something, you know, it's not your line. You just trying to, improve yourself in becoming a real estate, real estate investor, and you are trying to, you know, create financial freedom. You are doing the right thing. But of course, you cannot know everything. So that's why it is going to be a great advantage for you if you can reach out to people that are doing it before and work with them. Try
Yep.
to invest with them so they can help you get to the next level.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Do you still have most of us, Ibrahim?
No, I can just let me just end it that way. It's very large. It just depends on how people can, how their fear tolerance, their motivation, and and one thing I'll mention now real quick. Make sure you work with someone that is or her, goal it aligns with yours. So
Absolutely.
the fact that you are new and you are trying to, get into this business doesn't mean that you go to a realtor that has not invested before, that hasn't, even practically tried it before. It's not gonna work that way. It's better
Yep.
you go with someone that has done it before, because you are not trying to buy a house to live in. If you want to buy a primary residence, then it doesn't matter. But when you are trying to invest in real estate, you have to go to someone who has that knowledge.
Yep.
Same way,
100%.
somebody can just come to you and say, "Hey, I'm an investor. I do this, I do that. Come and buy with me." You have to verify: is this person a real investor, or is just, just saying or talking?
Yeah.
So if you want to go to investor, make sure that investor is a real investor. It's really invested, because at the
Yep.
end of the day, you have to go with someone who has that knowledge in what you are trying to get into.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to add something to that real quick. And thank you for sharing that, because a lot of people think they actually have to jump into it, which is why they've not done anything so far. You know, there's nothing wrong in being passive before you
Mhm.
become an active investor.
Yes.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. By investing with people that are actually doing deals, that automatically give you the knowledge that you need to do your own deal. Let me
Yeah.
give you an example. So you invest with someone that is actively doing deals. Paperwork is going to come to you
Yeah.
because you're going to have something for you to sign. So now you know what kind of paperwork you need when you are doing your own deal.
Yes.
They are going to send you pictures, process. Okay, week one, this is what we are doing. We are doing the painting is done now, so we are moving into kitchen area. The kitchen is done now, we are cleaning out the basement. That is basically what is happening in my side right now. So I'm using my own example. So we know that, okay, that one is done. Okay, let's clean up the floor, let's tidy up the lighting in the house, things like that. The step by step, that investor is going to be updating you what is going on in that project. And if you want to come along and see what is going on, you will be easily, they will walk you through it. This is what we've done, this is what we buy, this is why we buy this is why we don't do this. A lot of mistake that people do as a newbie investor is they over rehab the property that they buy in a not so good neighborhood.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, they set a new ARV instead of them, leveraging someone else that set the ARV, and
Yeah.
they are now setting a new ARV. And it takes
Mhm.
a lot of time before they can actually get their money out. Now they think, oh, that is a loss. It's not a loss. It's good that you do the job that you do, but you might, if you are a savvy investor, someone that have been doing it for some time, you know when to stop, when to use a sink faucet that is $30 to when to use a sink faucet that is
60 or 80.
even $600, all these shiny ones. So you know when to use which one and stuff like that. So this knowledge is very, very unique, and you can only learn it by actually seeing it, doing it, or following someone around
Who
that
is
is doing
doing
it.
it? Yeah.
And nobody is really going to want to show you if you are not investing with them. I mean,
Yes.
I didn't say no. Don't let me say nobody. There will be some that maybe due to your relationship and all that. But the good thing is, if you have that instead of that money sitting in the bank, follow the proper way of being a passive investor and let them invest with them. When you get that money back, now you are not only getting a return on your money, you are getting experience as well. Let's say you do one or two or three deals with them, before you know it, now you can go and invest on your own. And if you come back and ask questions that way, they will be happy because you've worked with them in the past.
Yes.
Even though you've worked with them, your own project is still going to be a little different, but at least now you have solve 50% of the challenges that you possibly going to see on
Counter.
your on your own project. So that is why I want to add to that. It is very, very important that people know that it is okay to be a passive investor before you become active, and it is totally okay to stay passive, because investing takes a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of boldness. It takes a lot of leadership to get it done. You need to know what you want. You need to go for it. You need to strike it when it's out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You cannot be jumping around thinking and being sneaky and thinking, so taking a week to think before you take action. You need to That is where the leadership comes in real estate investing. You need to be very snappy on things because deals move quickly. Good ones move so quickly.
Yeah.
So I don't think we have any additional question, Ibrahim. Any final word before we close for today?
Yeah, realistically, thank you for that. Realistically, many people won't be able to do active real estate investing anyway, because we all know that majority of us has in have second job. So our second job will not necessarily permit us to be an active investor, because it takes a lot more to be an active investor. So it's perfectly fine to be passive investor. All you have to do, get in contact with someone who has been doing it. I mentioned that if you want to buy investment property, don't go to an agent that has no experience in that, because if he or she is not doing that, why would you want to buy investment property from that agent? You have to go with someone who is doing it,
Yep.
or you go to an investor that is still reading Richard Poddard. I'm not saying don't read. I'm saying you are still reading where you haven't even go to the market and try it. Give it a try and see how it is. We can you can read all you want all day, all night. If you
Yeah.
haven't tried it, it's because experience is the best teacher. You guys know that.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
experience is the best teacher. So essentially, talk to people that are doing it. The main reason why we are here is to show you guys how to invest in real estate. Like, you know, we are providing the theories, which is that's why we are here tonight, but we are also happy to give you the practical. All you have to do is to reach out, give me a call, tell me about, okay, this is what you want to do, and this is how you would like to do it. The same way my co-host is there, give him a call.
Yep.
Essentially,
Absolutely.
tonight is my co-host, but to next Friday he might be my host, because we believe in partnership. There's
Yep.
nobody, the way we structure the podcast is the same way we are in real life. We are interactive, we are
Yeah.
approachable, we are friendly, we are there to provide you value.
Yep.
At the same time, we will appreciate being partnership with you guys. If you are ready to invest, you want to learn how to do it, we are more than open to show you how to do it. So we are not saying we know it all, but we have tried this, we have tested it, we know all the resources, we are very resourceful, we know how to get you started and make it profitable for you and for us as well. So
Yep.
give us a
Absolutely.
call and we'll start from there. Ahmed, what do you have to?
Before you hand it over to me, I want to ask. You mentioned people reach out to you. Where can they reach you?
Oh yeah, they can call my number, 317-728-0213. Go to Instagram, IB Realtors, Facebook, just type Ibrahim Ojende or ibrealtors.us. You see me
Okay.
there.
All right. So last thing for me is going to be, start where you are
Hmm.
and use what you have.
Yes,
Wherever that you have, look around, think about what you currently have, and look for how you can start with that.
yes,
Everybody have one unique uh, character traits, knowledge that can be helpful for an investor, or that can be helpful for themselves to invest in real estate.
yes,
But just because we are not leveraging it, we are not asking that question of ourselves, we don't see it.
yes, yes,
Get into the habit of asking your question. Don't just go with the first choice that comes into your head.
yes,
You ask more and more question of yourself, and that will help you. And go with something that you have already. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Don't try to go,
you don't have to do that.
save for the next 10 years to invest. Go with from where you are and from what you have already. That is all I have. If you want to reach out to me, it's official Ahmed Lawal on Instagram, and my number is 317-531-9685. On that note, thank you all for joining today.
Thank
Ibrahim,
you
thank you
guys.
for
Thank
sharing
you.
all this
Yeah,
knowledge.
thank you
We
guys.
will come back next week, Friday, 8 p.m.
Yes,
And this
yes,
podcast is on every platform that you can think of,
yes,
whereby you can play your podcast. So go and listen over and over again. If there's something that you think we say that it doesn't, you didn't catch it the first time, go back and listen to it. And if you still don't catch it, call us and we will explain further. Okay. So
okay.
thank you guys for joining today. We will see you next week.
All right, thank you guys.